SV Union High School and Junior College welcomes you. Hello, this is Deepa Fadke. We are going to learn Standard 9 English 2.1, the poem Invictus. So let's begin with the word meanings. Let's learn the meanings. Invictus, unconquerable, invincible. Pit, a large deep hole in the ground. Unconquerable means invincible or cannot be captured. Winced, felt hurt or cry in pain or jerked with pain. Fell clutch, wicked trap. Bludgeonings, violent beating with a club. Wrath, hatred, anger. Looms, appears or hangs overhead. Menace, threat. Straight, narrow indifference to the gate. Scroll, the law and rules made by men. Let's learn about the poet. William Ernest Henley was an influential English poet, critic, editor of the late Victorian era in England. Though he wrote several books of poetry, Henley is remembered most often for his 1875 poem Invictus and A Love by the Sea, a piece that remains in popular awareness. He was born on 23rd August 1849 and died on 11 July 1903. Invictus was written by the English poet William Ernest Henley. This is a very short Victorian poem which was written in 1875 and got published in 1888. William Henley brings out the theme of being courageous and strong during difficult circumstances in life. He talks about the deep realities of life which are not smooth and flawless. He knows the hard truth of life, that everyone's life is full of troubles, hardships, which come with different circumstances. But at the same time, if you are being courageous, strong enough, having positive attitude towards life, definitely you come out of it. And that is what the poem is about. So let's learn about it. Let's read the poem. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have never winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. So the poet says that despite the troubles, hardships and pain in his life, which he has faced at the early age of his life, that are around him like a dark night, he has always been very thankful to the gods for a soul that cannot be conquered by these trials and tribulations. He says that he has not winced, nor even cried aloud. Even during unfavorable circumstances in his life, though he has faced misfortunes, he has never accepted defeat. He says he believes that no matter what the situation is, he will always be in full control of his life. He wants to be an ardent fighter in his life against all those hardships and troubles. And he wants to he has already achieved a never say die attitude in his life. Let's read the remaining poem aloud. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, I charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. The poet further says that this life is full of wrath and tears. He knows it very well that everyone's life is full of troubles which come with different circumstances. So beyond this life looms the horror of death. After you live your life, you have to face that death. However, he is and will not be afraid of the threat of future sufferings. The poet then also uses the biblical references of a narrow gate that the soul has to pass through after death and the scroll of punishments. He is not afraid of how narrow the gate is, or how many punishments are there in the scroll. He ends the poem on a positive note, saying that he is the master of his fate and he is the captain of his soul. The poem deals with the idea that no amount or kind of hardships in life can control one's soul if one is determined to face them very bravely and positively. One's future is determined by his or her actions that are taken place in present and not by his or her luck. So being a human being, we are not supposed to always rely on the destiny or on the luck. Rather, we should be working so hard that you get destined towards being very successful in your life. Of course, the definition of success differs person to person. But whatever you feel you want to achieve or you are determined to get it, you will definitely get it in your life, because you should know one thing, that life should be under your control. You should have full control over your life, and life should not have control over you. You should control it very positively. So in the end, he says he is the master of his fate and he is the captain of his soul. This is a very famous poem, children, written by him. After learning the poem, let's learn about poetic devices. Black as the pit from pole to pole. It's a simile because there is a direct comparison between the dark night and a deep black pit. Next one, out of the night that covers me. It's a metaphor because the night is indirectly compared to the difficulties and trials of life. Next one, in the fell clutch of circumstances. It becomes personification because the circumstances are given the human quality of trapping something. Next line, black as the pit from pole to pole. It becomes alliteration because the sound of the letter P is repeated in pit and pole. Next one, I am the master of my fate and the captain of my soul. Here it becomes repetition because the phrase I am is repeated for poetic beauty. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? If you see first stanza, first and third line, me, be. Both the words rhyme with each other. So small a, pole, soul, b, b. So the rhyme scheme of the first stanza will be AB, AB. Same way for second stanza, circumstance, chance, AA, allowed, unbowed, BB. So again it will be AB, AB. Same way for third and fourth stanza also it becomes AB, AB. So overall the rhyming scheme of the poem will be AB, AB. Let's go through the poetic appreciation of the poem. The poem Invictus is written by William Ernest Henley. The poem revolves around the poet's struggles, hardships that he has encountered at a very young age, and how, in spite of all these trials, he fought with resilience and courage, and not only overcome them, but also develop never say die attitude and never accepted defeat. He is convinced that he is the master of his fate and the captain of his soul. Children, we are covering here three headings: the title, poet, and the central idea or summary of the poem. Now let's learn about figures of speech. Simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, repetition are the figures of speech that are used very effectively in this poem. The rhyme scheme is AB, AB. I like this poem because it fills you with positive approach towards life. So here we are covering rhyming scheme and why do I like this poem. You might have understood one thing, children, when we were going through this poetic appreciation. Nowhere we have given the headings. In a paragraph format, we need to write this answer, and wherever we are covering those headings, you can underline them, like underlining the name of the poem, name of the poet, figures of speech, central idea, important words, etc. We have completed learning the poem Invictus, solved textual activities, Write personal response questions and poetic appreciation in your classwork. Thank you.